Humanity had always strived to be a peaceful species. Despite our tumultuous history, we had a dream: to build bridges, not walls, to unite with other intelligent species across the galaxy. That dream led us to establish the Intergalactic Diplomatic Corps, IDC, a brave new frontier for human diplomacy, and our first step toward full membership in the Galactic Union, a collective of the most powerful and ancient civilizations in the galaxy. Ambassador Philip Rayner was a veteran of human diplomacy, renowned across the galaxy for his wit, his charm, and most importantly, his unyielding belief in peace. The mission was simple. He was to meet with the Galactic Empire, one of the most powerful and authoritarian factions in the galaxy. His goal was to negotiate a treaty, one that would bring stability to the galaxy and ensure that humanity's future in the stars was secure. At least, that was the plan. The Galactic Empire was a vast, authoritarian regime led by the mysterious Emperor Karath, whose empire spanned dozens of star systems. Despite its advanced technology and military prowess, the Empire had been notoriously difficult to approach when it came to diplomacy. They had crushed smaller civilizations, destroyed entire fleets, and maintained a tight grip on their subjects. They were not known for their kindness, but they were pragmatic. Many believed that a treaty could be negotiated if the right approach was taken. Philip Rayner had spent years preparing for this moment. He knew the stakes were high, but he was confident. He boarded the diplomatic vessel Aurelia, a sleek, state-of-the-art cruiser, and left Earth's orbit with hope in his heart. The first few days in transit were peaceful. Rayner communicated with Earth's leaders regularly, providing status updates and discussing terms with the Galactic Empire. There was optimism. He had even sent a message to his wife Eleanor, telling her he was looking forward to returning home soon. Then, on the fourth day of his journey, something happened. The Aurelia entered the orbit of the Empire's capital planet, Zaltor. The planet was an industrial behemoth, surrounded by the endless sprawl of its military fleets. Ambassador Rayner and his entourage were welcomed in a grand, formal ceremony, but the tension in the air was thick. No one trusted the Empire, but this meeting was a necessary step. The negotiations took place in the Imperial Palace, a massive fortress of black stone, guarded by legions of robotic sentinels. Rayner had been led into a grand hall where he was to meet with Emperor Karath himself. What should have been a simple diplomatic affair quickly turned into a nightmare. No one expected what happened next. Ambassador Rayner stood before Karath, a towering figure draped in dark robes, his face obscured by a shimmering helmet. The Emperor made no pretense of friendliness, his voice cold and emotionless. "We have no interest in trivial human diplomacy," Karath declared. "Your species is weak. You cannot sway the Empire." Rayner, never one to back down, retorted, "We do not wish to challenge your empire, only to coexist. We seek peace, not war." For a brief moment, there was silence. Then, without warning, the room erupted into chaos. A cloaked figure, one of Karath's personal guards, stepped forward, drawing a blade from under his robes. In the blink of an eye, he struck Ambassador Rayner down. The attack was swift and brutal. Rayner fell to the floor, his blood staining the polished stone. The Empire's guards quickly subdued the rest of the human delegation, and the room descended into madness. The Emperor's face remained impassive, his eyes cold, as the diplomats were hauled away. The Empire had just killed humanity's most respected diplomat, and the galaxy watched in stunned silence. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. The death of Ambassador Philip Rayner was a devastating blow, not just to humanity, but to the entire diplomatic community. Earth's government was in shock. The loss of a beloved diplomat was tragic, but it was also an act of aggression that could not be ignored. The United Nations, under the newly formed Earth Galactic Council, convened an emergency session. Representatives from all over the world gathered to discuss their response. It wasn't just an attack on a single individual. It was an attack on humanity's dream of peace. The Council had two choices, diplomacy or war. But there was no longer any room for negotiation. Ambassador Rayner's death could not go unpunished. And so, humanity did what had never been done before. President Olivia Zhang stood before the council, her voice firm and resolute. We will not stand by while one of our own is murdered in cold blood. The Galactic Empire has made their choice. We will declare war. Full-scale war. The decision was unanimous. A broadcast went out across all human territories, signaling the beginning of humanity's first intergalactic war. The message was clear. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, and now the consequences would be felt across the stars. In the weeks that followed, Earth's military quickly mobilized. The combined forces of the United Earth Federation, now united under the banner of the Earth Galactic Council, began preparing for war. Humanity had never faced an enemy like the Galactic Empire, but it had something that no empire could predict: unity. Earth's military, though relatively new to space combat, was efficient and resourceful. We had the power of innovation on our side, and we quickly adapted to the advanced technologies we had learned from years of interacting with other civilizations. Humanity had learned the hard way that survival meant constant evolution, and we were ready to evolve again. The first strike came from Earth's newly formed Starfleet, led by Admiral Henry Blackwood, a battle-hardened strategist who had commanded Earth's fleets for over 2 decades. His plan was simple: hit the Empire supply lines, disrupt their military operations, and make them pay for what they had done. The first human fleet, composed of cutting-edge warships, arrived at the edges of Empire space. As the battle raged, human ships outmaneuvered and outsmarted the more advanced, but inflexible Empire fleet. Though the Empire's ships were stronger, Earth's tactics were different. We fought with a fire and determination they didn't expect. The first victory came in a pivotal battle over the planet Xemnas. A group of Empire warships had attacked a civilian convoy, and Earth responded with a counterstrike. The battle lasted for hours, but in the end, it was the human fleet that emerged victorious, sending a clear message: humanity was not to be underestimated. The Galactic Empire responded quickly. Karaf, now fully aware that humanity would not back down, ordered his fleet to launch an all-out assault on Earth's star systems. The Empire, with its vast military might, was an unstoppable force in many ways. But the Empire had underestimated one thing: humanity's sheer willpower. In a show of defiance, Earth's military made a daring assault on Zaltor, the capital of the Galactic Empire. A full-scale invasion was launched, and humanity's forces fought with everything they had. Admiral Blackwood led the charge, and the battle for the capital was fierce. But despite the odds, humanity had gained the upper hand. The Empire's forces were stretched thin, and their once unbreakable hold over the galaxy was beginning to crack. But Karaf was not a leader to be taken lightly. He ordered his elite guard to protect The year was 2467, and humanity had reached a milestone it had long dreamed of: intergalactic diplomacy. After decades of exploration and technological advancements, Earth had gained a seat at the table of the Galactic Union, a federation of diverse species from across the galaxy. However, the path to integration had not been easy. With several powerful and often hostile empires to contend with, humanity's entrance into galactic politics was met with both excitement and skepticism. At the forefront of this new phase in human history was Ambassador Philip Rayner, one of Earth's most respected diplomats. He was a man of steel resolve and unwavering optimism, chosen to represent humanity in the most delicate negotiations the galaxy had ever seen. His mission was to establish a treaty with the Galactic Empire, a military behemoth that controlled vast swaths of the galaxy and had a reputation for ruthlessness and totalitarian rule. The Galactic Empire had long been a mystery to other species. Its leadership was opaque, its methods brutal, and its culture steeped in secrecy. The Emperor, Karaf, ruled with an iron fist, his word law throughout the Empire's territories. Yet, there was hope. Diplomatic experts believed that with the right approach, a treaty could be forged ensuring that humanity would be allowed to thrive alongside the Empire's sprawling dominion. Ambassador Raynor boarded the flagship Aurelia, the finest diplomatic vessel humanity had to offer, as he set off for the Empire's capital, the fortress world of Zaltor. The human population held its breath, hoping that Raynor's mission would succeed. Upon arriving at Zaltor, Raynor was welcomed with formalities that masked the underlying tension. The Imperial Palace, a monumental structure of black stone, stood at the heart of the capital. It was a place of great tradition, yet its grandeur only served to intimidate those who entered its halls. Raynor was escorted to the palace, where he was set to meet with Emperor Karath himself. Despite the cold reception, Raynor remained optimistic. He had been briefed on the delicate nature of his meeting, but he was confident that a peaceful solution was possible. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened next. Inside the Emperor's grand chamber, Raynor stood before Karath, who was seated upon a raised throne, his face concealed by a black helmet. The air was thick with tension as the two men exchanged pleasantries, but it was clear that the Empire had no intention of negotiation. "You are a mere speck in the grand design of the galaxy, human," Emperor Karath's deep, echoing voice reverberated through the hall. "Your species is insignificant." Raynor, undeterred, replied, "We may be new to the stars, but humanity has learned to survive. We seek peace, not war." Without warning, a cloaked figure emerged from the shadows, moving with deadly precision. In an instant, a blade flashed, and Ambassador Raynor was struck down. The entire chamber was thrown into chaos as Raynor collapsed to the ground, his life extinguished by the swift blow. Karath's expression remained unchanged, his icy gaze fixed on the human diplomat's lifeless body. The room was silent, save for the hum of the palace's machinery. Raynor's death sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The murder of a diplomat was a clear violation of galactic law, an act that could not go unpunished. And for humanity, it was an unforgivable betrayal. Back on Earth, the news of Raynor's assassination spread like wildfire. The human race was in mourning, but there was also a growing sense of rage. This was not just the death of an individual. It was an affront to humanity as a whole. The United Nations and the Earth Galactic Council convened an emergency session where leaders from around the world gathered to determine the next course of action. President Olivia Zhang, who had been briefed on the situation, stood before the council. Her face was grim, her voice unwavering. "We have lost a great man," President Zhang began, "but we will not let his death be in vain. The Galactic Empire has crossed a line that cannot be ignored. They have killed one of our own. We will declare war, a full-scale war, and we will make them pay for their actions." The room erupted into debate, with some representatives calling for retaliation, while others urged caution. But in the end, the decision was clear. Humanity could not allow itself to be intimidated or silenced. Raynor's murder would not be forgotten, and Earth would not rest until justice was served. The declaration of war was broadcast across the entire planet. It was a historic moment. Humanity had just entered a new chapter, one that would forever change the course of its future. In the wake of the declaration, Earth's military began to mobilize at an unprecedented rate. The combined forces of the United Earth Federation were quickly prepared for battle. While humanity's fleets were nowhere near as advanced as those of the Galactic Empire, they were fueled by a fierce determination to protect their home and honor Raynor's legacy. Admiral Henry Blackwood, one of Earth's most experienced military leaders, was given command of the Earth's forces. He was a veteran of countless skirmishes and had the experience necessary to lead humanity in this new war. Under his command, the human fleet underwent rapid training, employing innovative tactics and utilizing advanced technologies that had been acquired through years of collaboration with other galactic species. Blackwood, along with his advisors, formulated a strategy to hit the Empire where it hurt the most: its military supply lines. The Empire's war machine depended on a vast network of trade routes and resupply stations scattered throughout the galaxy. If these were disrupted, The Empire would be forced to fight on multiple fronts, weakening its grip on the galaxy. The first strike came swiftly. A human fleet, composed of sleek, agile warships, attacked an Imperial resupply station in the outskirts of the Empire's territory. The Empire's response was immediate, but the human fleet used their superior tactics and knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the larger Imperial forces. The battle was fierce, but humanity emerged victorious. The Empire's supply lines were disrupted, and the message was clear. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. Emperor Koroth, enraged by the audacity of humanity's response, ordered a full-scale counterattack. The Empire's vast fleets, comprising millions of ships, began their assault on Earth's star systems. Koroth's objective was simple: crush humanity's resistance before it could gain further momentum. The human fleet fought back with everything they had, using guerrilla tactics, outsmarting the larger Imperial warships, and relying on their adaptability. But the Empire's military might was overwhelming. For every victory humanity achieved, the Empire retaliated with even greater force. In the midst of this brutal conflict, Admiral Blackwood coordinated a daring strike against the heart of the Empire's fleet, Zaltor itself. The plan was risky, but it was humanity's best chance to cripple the Empire once and for all. The mission: to infiltrate the capital, disable the Empire's command centers, and capture Emperor Koroth. The human forces, despite their smaller numbers, launched a full-scale assault on the Imperial capital. The battle for Zaltor was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The skies above the planet were filled with the flashes of laser fire, while Admiral Blackwood, understanding that the war could not go on indefinitely, planned humanity's most daring and decisive strike yet. If they could cripple the Empire's core, they might force Emperor Koroth to the negotiating table. The target: Zaltor, the heart of the Empire itself. The mission was simple but perilous. Strike deep into the Empire's capital, disable their command center, and capture Emperor Koroth. The odds were stacked against them, but humanity had already proven it would do whatever it took to survive. As the human fleet engaged the Imperial defenders in orbit above Zaltor, Commander Vega's elite assault team infiltrated the Imperial palace. The battle for the heart of the Empire was fierce, but the human forces fought with everything they had. After a harrowing battle through the Emperor's inner sanctum, Vega's team succeeded in capturing Koroth. The message was clear: the Galactic Empire's reign was over. With Koroth captured and the Empire's central command crippled, the Galactic Empire began to fracture. The once unified regime was now on the brink of collapse. Many of the Empire's colonies, tired of Koroth's iron-fisted rule, began to defect, pledging allegiance to humanity and its allies. The war, though costly, was over. Emperor Koroth was taken into custody, and the Empire's military forces were forced to retreat. The galaxy, once under the tyrannical rule of the Empire, was now open to a new era of cooperation and peace. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted as humanity's victory was secured. The war had cost many lives, but it had shown the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. Earth had proven that, when pushed to the brink, it could stand tall against even the most powerful empires. President Olivia Zhang addressed the galaxy in a final broadcast. "We have shown the universe that humanity is not just a species of peace. We are a species of strength. We fight for our future, our home, and for the memory of those we have lost. The Galactic Empire's reign of terror is over, and a new era has begun." The aftermath of the war brought a new dawn for humanity. With the Galactic Empire in ruins, Earth took its place as a key player in the galaxy. Diplomacy was once again the primary focus. But now, humanity's voice carried weight, and its allies stood by its side. As the galaxy began to rebuild, Earth's leaders worked tirelessly to establish a new council, one built on mutual respect and collaboration. The dream of peaceful coexistence, once thought impossible, was now a reality. Ambassador Philip Rayner's legacy lived on, his sacrifice inspiring humanity to stand tall in the face of adversity. The war had been brutal, but it had proven one undeniable truth. Humanity would never back down. With Emperor Koroth captured, the Galactic Empire began to crumble. Without its leader, the Empire's military forces were thrown into disarray. Colonies that had once been subjugated to imperial rule now saw an opportunity for freedom. Many chose to ally with humanity, forming a coalition to end the Empire's rule once and for all. The war was won, but the galaxy was left scarred by years of conflict. Earth, having emerged victorious, now faced the challenge of rebuilding a shattered universe. The battle for peace had cost many lives, but it had proven one undeniable truth. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with. With the fall of the Galactic Empire, the galaxy entered a new era. Humanity's victory over the Empire was not just a triumph of military might. It was a victory for diplomacy, for the ideals of justice, and for the unbreakable will of the human spirit. In the aftermath of the war, Earth took its place as a respected member of the galactic community. The death of Ambassador Philip Raynor had been a catalyst for the war, but his legacy lived on. His vision of a peaceful galaxy, where all species could coexist, had not been defeated. Through the sacrifice of countless brave men and women, humanity had won the peace that Raynor had so desperately sought. In the final moments of the war, as President Olivia Zhang addressed the galaxy, she spoke with unwavering conviction. We stand not as conquerors, but as builders. We have fought for peace, and we will build a galaxy where all species can live free from the shadow of tyranny. This is our victory, but it is also the victory of all who believe in the power of unity